Hello, everyone. Bienvenidos. I'm Kathy Buccio, your host for Talk Shop Live, and I am so excited about today's interviews because this one really hits close home for me. I am a Cuban American who grew up listening to the Buena Vista Social Club because of my parents, because of my grandparents, and I was able to see it come to life on Broadway. And honestly, it brought me to tears. I spent the whole show crying, and that's good cry. And this production in itself has really captured the soul of Cuba, the heartbeat of the music, and it's been recognized in such a huge way because it has won 5 Tony Awards, and so well deserved. It should have been a sweep, but five is amazing. And joining me today are three of the incredible individuals who helped make that magic happen. Starting with Dean Sharenow, the show's music supervisor and co-orchestrator. We have David Oquendo, a legendary Cuban musician and vocalist from Havana, Cuba, and Renesito Avich, an extraordinary guitarist and multi-instrumentalist from Santiago de Cuba. We are so thrilled to have you here. So before we get started, I want to remind everyone who's watching on Talk Shop Live to please click that shop button so you can get yourself a CD or vinyl with the lyric book. You're not going to want to miss this. And if you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop. You're going to get a link directly into your DM so that you can purchase. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello. Make sure to go on the link in the description. You're going to see a link there to purchase as well. So I think I said enough. Let's get started. Bienvenido. Hello. Thank you for being here.
Hola.
Thanks for having us. Hola.
So happy to be here.
And so happy to have you. I know you're all coming from different places, and more importantly, you're here before the show, which I'm very thankful about. So, Dean, I'm going to kick it off with you, which is, Buena Vista Social Club. This is an iconic name in music history. I mean, I feel like, yes, I'm Cuban American, but it really transcends language. It really transcends culture as well. So to see that come alive on Broadway stage, how does that begin to happen?
It was really daunting because when we started discussing this show probably 7 years ago.
Wow.
And when it was first presented to me by our Broadway, our theatrical producer, Oren Wolf, I just didn't see any way it could be done. Because usually what happens with Broadway is Broadway imposes itself on whatever art, whatever style of music is brought to it. So a jazz show becomes Broadway jazz, something, things like that. And it was very important to us to make a show that did not feel like a Broadway version of Cuban music, but that felt like the actual thing. All the performers, all the musicians. It was a lot, and it was pretty much nonstop work for 6 or 7 years to bring together this cast, this band, and to tell the story of these characters, which a lot of our audience already knows. We're representing famous, important cultural figures in Cuba. We wanted to make sure that we were telling their stories and the story of the music and the history of the country in a way that Cubans could feel proud of.
Of course. And then I heard that you actually, in those 6-7 years, went through all over the world looking for these musicians, like putting this band together that brought Renesito, that brought David onto the stage. So how was that process like?
So in this show, it's very unusual because the band and the cast, especially the singers, the people playing Omar Portuondo, Compay Segundo, Ibrahim, all of those people, I was involved in a way that a music supervisor might not necessarily be. A lot of times it's much more based on the orchestra itself. But because we needed to represent these figures truthfully, and because obviously this is not my culture, it is not my music, but I know this album for 25 years.
Right.
We worked very hard as a music team. We worked with our casting directors. We also worked with Wanda Marcos is a consultant on the show. He was one of the first people that we spoke to about this, and he was our measure. I said, look, I want you to come to see this show and feel like we did it. It feels like your experience of this music. So it was not just the music department, casting department. It was just a community. It took a community to cast the show. We would hire someone for the band and they would be like, oh, my friend is a singer, you should audition him. And that just doesn't usually happen for shows. It goes through a very normal process where the casting people send people in and we have them sing and dance and act, and when you choose the people. But because we needed to be true to these actual human beings and to the music, it just came from everywhere. It was a massive, massive effort, and that's why it took so long.
And it's incredible because you can actually feel that authenticity in the show, which is just absolutely remarkable. And David Renesito, para ustedes, esta música representa, me imagino, tanto para los cubanos que no solamente están aquí en el país de los Estados Unidos o por el mundo, pero también de la isla. Para ustedes, ¿cómo ven esa historia y esos sonidos conectar con una generación nueva también? Y también como identificar la autenticidad que hemos hablado en una producción musical.
Sí, bueno, yo creo que una vez que llego al estudio, hace 2 años, y conozco al maestro David Oquendo, miro alrededor, veo los músicos, ya se sentía que yo estaba viviendo el Buena Vista Social Club. Cuando yo me di cuenta en lo que yo estaba envuelto, sentí que tenía una misión, y creo que la estamos cumpliendo, ¿no? Que es representar nuestras raíces en un escenario tan importante como Broadway.
Claro. David, ¿para ti?
Para mí fue algo fantástico cuando yo recibo la llamada de Dean, de parte de un gran amigo mío, Juan de Marcos, que fue el director musical original del álbum. Dean y yo conectamos inmediatamente porque vi que tenía una sinceridad muy grande y un respeto hacia lo que queríamos hacer.
Claro.
Digo queríamos porque ya yo me enamoré del proyecto desde que me llamaron. Es una responsabilidad muy grande, pero creo, como dice Renesito, que la estamos cumpliendo a cabalidad. Desde ahí empezó el proceso. Dean trabajó muy duro en escoger qué persona era la adecuada para cada una de las cosas. Fue un proceso largo, pero creo que se logró, Dean. Buscar en cada instrumento, en cada miembro del cast, lo que representara lo más genuino y con mucha autenticidad, como tú dices, Katy.
Uh-huh.
La concepción de los arreglos musicales, todo el proceso tratamos de mantener esa autenticidad. Y yo me gané la lotería. Cuando conocí a Renesito, cuando conocí a todo el personal que estaba trabajando, hemos creado una familia. Y yo me siento muy honrado y como te reitero, me gané la lotería, pero tenemos esa responsabilidad de llevar todo ese legado y ponerlo en alto. Y hemos tenido la dicha de que se ha reconocido todo este esfuerzo que estamos haciendo.
Y ese sentimiento de familia, de las emociones, de comunidad, de verdad se siente noche tras noche en el teatro musical. Y para ustedes, ¿cuál es esa emoción para poder cantar esta música todas las noches?
Bueno, por un lado es difícil también. Uh-huh. Es congratulante, es fantástico, pero es difícil. A mí quien me salva muchas veces la pelea es Renesito. Nosotros estamos uno al lado del otro y mi mente se me va para Cuba. Hay veces que me hace así diciendo, wake up. Sí, es difícil. Sí. Y conozco esta música desde niño.
Claro.
Pero me transporta porque se está haciendo con una autenticidad muy grande. Y los actores son increíbles, el libreto, las luces, todo es un complejo muy bien estructurado, muy bien estructurado. Los que estamos en escena, detrás de los que están en escena, existe un equipo, bueno, ya viste a Dean y todos los demás que están trabajando, Sahin, Ori, es un equipo tremendo, es una familia. Yo me siento honrado de ser parte de esta familia.
Sí, exacto.
Sí, lo es. Yo creo que ya yo tengo un ritual. Hay que tener en cuenta que este show lo hacemos 8 veces a la semana, pero cada noche se siente como nuevo. Y no solamente porque nosotros lo sentimos así, sino también por el amor que nos da el público. Cada noche es inédito. Y ya yo tengo mi ritual de agradecimiento en cada momento del show y también de imaginación como ejercicio, ¿no? Y me recuerdo, hay partes del show en donde me siento en la Casa de la Trova de Santiago de Cuba. Hay partes en donde me siento al frente de Compay Segundo cantando el Chan Chan. Y cada noche dar directo al corazón. Es como una terapia cada noche para nosotros que amamos esta música con el corazón.
Me encanta eso. And we're gonna, before we move on to more questions, I do want to roll in just a little sneak peek of what to expect when you go see Buena Vista Social Club on Broadway. It's playing now, so take a look and see for yourself.
D?
See?
No, but there it is.
Right now, you and I are 1,000 miles away, but a sound like this, it tends to travel.
I need to sing them.
Young man, you might know my music, but make no mistake, you do not know me.
There's this place in Marianao. We're playing there tonight with as much feeling as we want.
What's this place called?
The Buena Vista Social Club.
Me quemo, oye, para que me quemo, oye, que me estoy quemando, oye, lo que rico está, oye, mira mi pasillo,
It's not your fault. The world made us take sides.
Oh my gosh, sensational. Like I said, I'm already teary, but I do want to remind everyone who's watching right now, click the shop button, get the Buena Vista Social Club music. It is life-changing, and it comes with a lyric book as well. If you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop. You're going to get a link directly into your messages to purchase. And if you're on YouTube watching this interview right now, make sure to check the description. It will give you a link so that you can purchase as well. Dean, I do have a question from our chat here. Janet wants to know, how did you approach adapting the album and documentary into a narrative musical?
So that was one of the hardest things, because the music, if you do it right, if you do it with musicians who grew up playing this music, to whom it is in their soul, that part of it was pretty easy. Marco Paglia, who did our orchestrations, a lot of that is, based on existing orchestrations of the songs and arrangements of the tunes. So that stuff came relatively easily. The script was a massive labor of love. Worked on mostly by our book writer, that's Marco Ramirez. Also worked on by Sahim Ali, our director, and also by our producer, Oren Wolf. We wanted to tell a story that wasn't necessarily 100% true, but that used truth in the history of the country, truth in the history of these people and their connections, to be compelling and not just feel like you were going to see a concert with some scenes in between.
Right.
Because there are shows like that. They're called, jukebox musicals. Mm-hmm. And while our show is that to a certain extent, and you will be hopefully, caught up in the musical moments that run throughout, there is a narrative that pulls you along until the next song. There are shows I've worked on where you sort of can't wait for the next song to happen because the script is not very interesting, the character's not interesting to you. I think what's very special about this is the way Marco Ramirez crafted a story about these real people, right, that could be compelling and draw people along and connect them with who these humans are, at the same time that we can just blow the roof off the theater every night with performance.
And because obviously Marcos has welcome Cuban descent, and weaving that storyline with such a very delicate political landscape of the Cuban community and the Cuban culture, was that difficult? And when you were doing arrangements for the music and to perform the music?
I know Marco and Sahim and Oren worked very, very hard to figure out exactly how much of that to include, because our show is not particularly political. It is not, it's you want people to be entertained, but you also want them to get some taste. Many people who come to the show, like know a lot of the history. We also have a lot of people who have maybe never heard this music before. They're just coming because they heard the show won a bunch of awards and it's a fun night at the at the theater. So we wanted them to get a little taste as well. again, that's not my part of the art,
Right.
but I saw the story evolve. I saw the politics weave in and weave out, and like, okay, this is a little too much here. We don't need to spend this much time on this moment. It's always such a delicate balance. Musical theater is so collaborative. It's not like making an album, which, you know, we can talk about, you know, on this as well. It's not. It's much more like making a film. And what's even more difficult about it than a film is that with a film, you can capture your moments and then you can control it. With musical theater, it's new every single moment, every single night. So you set a framework of storytelling, and then once it's there, it's set, but it is informed every performance by what the actors are doing, what the musicians are doing. So there needed to be enough detail in the script and interest in the script and connection between characters that you wanted to be pulled along, but not so much that it felt like we were taking some particular political viewpoint or anything else. It's really just telling the story of these characters, this history, and this music.
Well, let's talk about the album. Vamos a hablar del álbum un momentico. So how do you put that together? The music, the songs, when you're going through, keeping it as authentic as possible. ¿Cuáles son las canciones que van a de verdad sentirse con la audiencia? Like, what is the audience going to really capture here? How is it going to fit into the story? How do you begin to put that beautiful songbook together?
Yo creo, en español o en inglés, vamos a empezar en español.
Claro que sí.
Yo creo que parte del concepto del musical, el musical está basado en la historia de un álbum, y este álbum refleja ese sonido de los años 50, de nuestra música cubana, que tuvo un renacimiento en el 1997, gracias a Juan de Marco, Nick Gold y el equipo de Buena Vista Social Club. Y esto está pasando en el 2025, es un nuevo florecer de esta música. Y yo tengo la posibilidad de ver cómo la gente ama cada canción desde mi Apple Music o desde mi Spotify.
Yes.
Y hay canciones que llegan nuevamente a la audiencia desde nuestro álbum, desde nuestro álbum del Cast álbum de Buena Vista Social Club, como El Carretero, como Candela, que son clásicos de este álbum. El Cumbanchero, que es una canción tan amada por todo el Caribe. Y yo creo que se diseñó con la idea de mantener la esencia de lo que sucede cada noche en el teatro, pero de presentarlo como un álbum en que la gente se enamore nuevamente de esta música.
Amazing. Okay. And in English, how would you explain it, Renesito, in terms of?
Definitely, yeah. I was saying that. So the album itself, it was designed to put a word to it, in a way to represent what we're doing every night on the show, on the theater. But because we're doing a show based on an album, it's so important for our music. And this album particularly, it was able to rebuild our Cuban music in a way that people fall in love again with our music. That I feel this album, our Broadway album, our Cast album, is doing the same thing, because I'm able to see it on Spotify and Apple Music and all over. The way people is loving again this music. So I mentioned El Carretero, Candela, Qué Bueno Baila Usted. These titles are again just blowing up again and blooming all over.
Thanks, Drew. Gene, you want to add anything to that?
Sure. I mean, my main career is as a recording engineer and music producer. Mm-hmm. Music supervision is only in the last, 6 or 7 years. Again, a super daunting idea that we were going to record this music again. This music where this album sold millions of copies worldwide and touched people who did not know anything about what the stories of the songs were, did not maybe understand the lyrics. And I knew we couldn't make exactly that record. That record is iconic and it sounds how it sounds. But I knew that, first of all, our band, as they do every night, would bring their own soul to it. That alone makes the recording process much easier, because all I have to do is just choose the right microphones, put people in the right space, and we do 2 or 3 takes of a song, and it's like, okay, it's done. It helps in musical theater that the band is so tightly rehearsed. The original album, all the musicians, of course, knew those songs, but they were making a record, and some of these people hadn't played together in a while. So finding the connections to deliver the particular take of the song that felt right was very different. For us, our band had been doing the songs first for our off-Broadway production at the Atlantic Theater, and then in rehearsal and performance for our Broadway show. Our band was so connected already and so tight. That part was really not a challenge. It was like, here, I'm going to set you up, go for it, do your thing.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And David, quiero preguntarte a ti, hay muchas personas que están oyendo esta música por primera vez. Y, a ver, cuando ustedes están en escenario todos los días y ven esas caras frescas en la audiencia, ¿qué es lo que quiere que ellos se vayan? ¿Qué quieren? ¿Qué mensaje? ¿Qué emoción? Especialmente, no tienen que entender la historia, solo que tienen que entender la pasión. A ver, ¿qué quieres que ellos que recuerden cuando vayan a musical?
Bueno, para toda la audiencia, lo voy a decir un poquito también en inglés.
Claro que sí, sí.
Music is the only universal language. And one of the purest things was to preserve the original songs totally in Spanish, because it's the poetry, everything, and the story in English. And that connection, I think, was magic. That was magic. And many people that attend to the theater that doesn't speak one word in Spanish, they are crying, they are laughing, they are dancing. The cast there try to, hey, don't dance. The people try to move.
Yes, I would like to dance too. I couldn't wait to dance.
Yeah. And I think that magic was captured in the studio by Dean. The way that we recorded was using the new technology, but recording the old school. We are in the same room, the minimal overdub, minimum. And that thing say the band is so tight.
Yes.
We only have to see one to each other. We know what we have to do. That connection, that's to preserve the purest form that was recording that album. I think we got it.
Absolutely. And I think, Dean, one of the things that Renesito and David, please add here too, when we see musicals, most of the time the band, the music, the orchestra, they're not front and center. In Buena Vista Social Club, the musicians are really a character in this whole production. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because it's just beautiful how seamless it's done, where this music is so key to delivering the message of love, of the message of loss, of just perseverance. So can you describe that, Dean? And David and Renesito, please jump in and what that feels for you as well as musicians.
Sure. We knew the music was the star of this show. We knew we had to tell a story. We knew it had to look beautiful. We were super, super fortunate to have our amazing choreography team of Justin Peck, Patricia Delgado, who are also steeped in so many different styles, and also understand African dance and Cuban dance. So we knew that all of these elements were important, but on the first day of our Broadway rehearsals, our director said, I'm just going to tell everyone here right now, the star of this show is the songs. The people who wrote these songs, they are the people we are representing. Yes, we have characters from in real life that are being portrayed by actors, but ultimately the thing that makes this so universal is these songs. And I don't know what it is about Cuban music that connects with people all over the world, but we knew that was the secret to getting people to come and see our show and enjoy all the aspects that we present every night. And he said, everyone bring everything that you can to this, but everything is in the service of these songs.
Right.
And I think that is what feels so truthful and amazing about the show. It's why people are laughing and crying and dancing. We're not sort of putting them in we're representing them in a very honest way. The musicians who are playing them grew up playing this music. They are not imitating the style. Again, it's something that happens on many shows, and many Broadway shows that are fantastic. There are still musicians imitating a style from a certain period or from a certain culture.
There's no
This is not. That's right. This is not that. That's why people come in. We just, the El Carretero, begins the show, and you can just see everybody's like, what's happening? I've never experienced this before. So that was very important to us, and it's thrilling to go see every night.
Absolutely.
It's interesting what Dean is saying. As a matter of fact, we don't have time because we've been doing 260 show right now to sit and chat like this. So this is a great opportunity for me to hear El Maestro David and Dean, talk about the show. But I'm, as you mentioned, the band is in the center of the stage, and I'm part of it. I'm lucky to be part of it, and but also lucky to have my own seat of the show, so I can see. I have my angle of the show.
Right.
But I don't know how the people look at us, because we have lights, we have a lot of things that we don't see. By the way, lights, sound, this magic of Broadway is something that also live our music in a way people really get the message and get it on the best quality ever I have done it in my life. And so it's so easy to deliver a message when we follow the direction of the actual show, just playing the songs that are the star of the show. And I think people walk out of a show because I go to sign autograph of the playbills, saying, "This is my first Broadway show. I'm blown away. I didn't knew about this music before, and I'm going to listen to the album." So this type of reaction you get, I didn't experience this before. And getting back to the album and what David said about the album, I've been learning in my career how to produce this music, and I'm still learning how to make it right in some way. And I never had the opportunity to be with a full band on the studio. Like I mentioned, when I got to the studio and produced this type of music, just playing there, just capturing the soul of our music in the studio. And I think this is beautiful. This is one of the best experiences I have on the recording music, and you can listen to it when you listen to our album.
What a gift. I mean, what a gift, Renesito. And David, for you as well, being front and center as one of the main characters here, our main artists on the stage every night for this performance.
Maestro David.
I'm thinking too much.
No piense.
A lot to process.
I'm thinking too much. Every night is un nuevo amanecer. Every night. Many people ask me about how is doing a show per week. You don't feel tired. You don't feel bored. Every night is different. It's different. And the day that we are doing 2 shows, that Wednesday and Saturday, each show is different.
Right.
That's right.
It's different because the way that was conceived, this we respect the structure for the choreography, for the timing, everything, but we left the space for the improvisation, space for breathe the music, breathe the soul, and how you feel the groove totally different 1 minute after the other. And that was so difficult because it's not typical in Broadway. And the musician is all the time on the stage. That didn't say the musician at the show.
Right.
That is a very important point, and I think that's another reason why the show is so exciting. Is that, again, in most Broadway shows, it's such a finely tuned machine. The acting performances, the script, the way the music is, the lighting, the automation of the sets. Everything is so interdependent. often just becomes exactly the same every night. There might be little moments that the performers know are different, but if you go see the show, you'll have pretty much the same experience.
Right.
I think with our show, I have never been able to give musicians in musical theater context so much freedom with solos,
Wow.
with the way the songs feel each night. A lot of musicals, because they need to be, because of how complicated they are, have a what's called a click track. So the musicians are playing along with a fixed pulse. So the songs are exactly the same tempo every night. They are the same number of measures as you get to the solo in the end. For our show, it doesn't happen. If the band is feeling it a certain way one night, it'll be a little quicker. It might sit back a little bit. That's the glory to me of music, because the music is the thing that I care about the most, and the thing that I have the most familiarity with of all the different arts that go into making a show. So it's exciting for me to go in and be like, wow, they're tearing through this song tonight, or oh, this is sitting back a little bit tonight. You don't have that kind of flexibility and adventure in most shows. So I think even if it's your first time seeing the show, it really feels fresh, because to the band and the dancers and the singers and actors, it feels fresh.
I feel like they make your job just a little bit easier, Dean. Just a little bit.
Well, I had to hire the right people, but yes.
Yes, absolutely. I do want to get some questions in here before, because I know we're getting to time, but there are some fan questions here, and I want to remind everybody to shop the beautiful. By the way, Dean, we got to talk about the illustrations in that book, because they are beautiful. I still have mine from the show, and I can't part with it. But everyone's watching here on Talk Shop Live. Click the shop button so you can get a vinyl or CD, and it comes with a lyric book. If you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop. You're going to get a link directly into your DM and to your messages to purchase. And if you're watching on YouTube, check the link in the description. You'll be able to click on that and shop as well. Okay, so one question we have here is, will the show be touring? I like to see it on the West Coast.
I can say that the show will be touring.
Oh.
We have a plan to start on the road in September of 2026. This first tour will be mostly United States, some Canada.
Okay.
I don't know. It's usually they get booked for about a year, so it will certainly be in a lot of major cities and also smaller towns. Sometimes we'll stay for a month, sometimes it'll be a week. It just depends upon how much audience there might be for a particular show. Obviously, in a city like Miami, we're probably going to spend more time than other places. But yes, there is a tour scheduled, and we're in conversation to do productions around the world in the same way that the album appealed to people all over the world. We're talking about London production, about Hamburg production, about Barcelona production.
Amazing.
I'd love to see what the show was like in Tokyo, because you can translate the script. Because the themes are so universal, I believe you can easily translate the script into whatever language is appropriate for that audience. And again, the songs stay in Spanish. So it will easily translate, I think, just as the album did, to many, many different countries and languages.
Another question we have: what has the response been from the Cuban American community? ¿Cómo ha sido la respuesta de la comunidad cubana y cubana-americana?
Ha sido preciosa. Yo siento que todo parte de que se sienten identificados con nuestra música, es auténtico, con nuestra historia también. Y ha sido muy bonito. Realmente nos sentimos honrados y humildes, y tenemos la responsabilidad de representar a nuestro país, a nuestra cultura, y así lo ha demostrado nuestra comunidad.
Amazing. David, una pregunta para ti también. Si tienes que describir, si pudieras describir el espectáculo en una sola palabra, alguien que nunca ha visto la producción musical, ¿cómo la puedes describir?
Amor.
Okay.
Claro.
Amor, claro.
That's
amor
it.
A la música, amor al arte, amor a las tradiciones, amor al legado, amor al futuro, a la vida. Amor.
Amor. And for all of you, I mean, especially Jean, seeing this finally come to life after working for 6 to 7 years, and for you, Renesito, and for David, what has been the most rewarding? This is what a fan wants to know. What has been the most rewarding, the biggest takeaway from being able to bring this show to life and seeing it every night?
Oh,
Rene.
I think it's a mix, because I have to speak here in behalf of the way I feel the connection with the audience. I mean,
Right.
I think to me, it's a surprise every night the way people get to it, and the way people respond to it. But also in the other side, on the creative team, the way we have got together on the comprehension. So that click, that topic about the click Dean was explaining to you, is very important, because to make Cuban music, it's very hard to play with a click. As the soul of the music, guides you.
Right.
And so that's a part of the comprehension of the creative team with us, the musicians and the artists. And to see this alive is because we got in agreement of doing this in the most beautiful way. And that's rewarding to me too. Yeah, to see that every night in this hour show. This is something we made together.
Oh, yeah, I have goosebumps. No, what about for you, David, and for you, Dean?
David.
Y sigo pensando mucho.
Oye, me estoy pensando demasiado.
El amor.
El amor.
El amor. Hablando del amor, cuando hacemos, todo el mundo piensa en la música cubana, la cumbancha, la gozadera, la ricura. Cada vez que hacemos un número romántico en el show, un número slow, un número deep como Chan Chan, cuando se hace a capela, Drume Negrita, cuando hacemos silencio, cuando hacemos dos gardenias, las personas pasan en inglés to the other sleeve, another dimension, y uno lo siente, el músico lo siente, porque uno está tocando y I look at the audience, I saw the audience crying, some couple embrace to the other, that's mean a lot.
Of course.
They don't know what we are talking about. They don't know but the music that I said before is a universal language. It's not only the enjoyable music that, for example, the other night when we're doing Bruca Manigua, it's a emblematic piece from Arsenio Rodriguez, but we did a special arrangement for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Some part of the tune, we start doing something in Yoruba language. At the end of the show, some people from Nigeria was waiting outside to get the autograph.
Right.
Was crying. Renesito and me was signed the autograph with them. Oh. They was crying because they understand in the first hand all the thing that we are doing.
And the connection between Africa and Cuba,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's mean a lot.
Yeah.
I can stop talking about how many things impress myself. About the cast, the young people that doing the young Ibrahim, the young Omara, the pronunciation is perfect, not only in Spanish, in Yoruba, in Bantu, in Carabalí. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
That's also thanks to you, David. David is also our associate music director on the show, which means that a lot of the truth in the performances. Marco Paglia is our music director, who's a spectacular musician, band leader, arranger, orchestrator. He's one of our Tony winners for the show. I've known him for probably 30 years. And between he and David, they are there to help prepare the performers. Some people came in just knowing this music. We have a couple of people who are just like this is just natural to them.
Right.
Mel Sameh, who plays Ibrahim Ferrer in the 90s. We found him in Barcelona. He's just a musician, had never acted before. He's Cuban, and the musical moments that are part of Ibrahim's performance, he can just do. He just has, it's just in him. We have other performers who either spoke very little Spanish when they began, or spoke no Spanish when they began. And one of David's tasks, along with our Rosie, who is our language coach, is to let them understand what it is to speak Spanish, to sing in Spanish. It's very difficult, as you can imagine, not just to sing songs that you don't necessarily know, but also sing them in a language that you don't know.
Right.
So David spends a lot of time early on with our cast, especially our young cast, to prepare them to speak. You say they speak well, but they speak well and sing well because of the soul that you gave them.
Mm-hmm.
You help them find how to express the songs, how to express their performances.
And without even knowing the language, they feel so connected to the music that they can deliver that feeling, not knowing Spanish or or speaking it at all.
Yeah, I mean, our ideal would have been, and it would have been much easier for us and for David if we had all Spanish-speaking, Spanish-singing actors. It just doesn't work that way because of how complicated making a show is, and all the elements that you need to bring together in your performers. So that was also a massive task. And again, it's a testament to David and Rosie and the rest of our team that it feels real. I also think that you sort of reach a tipping point when you have enough people that actually speak the language and sing and play the music. Like our band is so solid every night. The actors and singers who were new to this when they first started can lean on that. And so a little mistake they might make is easily disguised because you're caught up in so much reality and so much of the soul of this. You can get away with, somebody might sing a lyric sing some Spanish, not quite accurately. We can help fix that down the road, but the audience will probably never have that experience because so much of it is so truthful. And that's very important. And for the album, I think it's the same way. We worked to capture as honest and soulful a representation of the music as we could. I would encourage people to, buy the vinyl, A-B it with the original album, because I did that a lot while I was working, because that album has a very particular sound. That album, a lot of people won't necessarily know this, it's a nerdy behind the scenes thing, but that album, most of what you are hearing is one microphone. Normally you have microphones on every singer, on every instrument, but because everyone was in one room, they did have close microphones on different instruments. But if you listen, you'll hear the trumpet sometimes sounds on the other side of the room. You'll hear the timbales, you're hearing it as though it's not quite on a microphone. It's because a lot of the mixes of that album came 90% through one stereo microphone. And that's a testament to engineers who work in IGRAM studios, where that album and many Cuban albums were performed, that how to place people around the room so that it's automatically blended. And our album has more close miking on things because I can do that. But there also is a lot of stuff that's coming through, bleeding through microphones in from other parts of the band. And I wanted to preserve that because that's how that music traditionally is recorded. So I wanted it to sound contemporary and like our group and like our show, but I also wanted to honor the way that music is typically recorded. So I tried to walk that line as best I could. Again, I encourage people to sort of bounce back and forth because there are tunes that are on both albums and just hear some of the differences.
I want to, just before we go, you mentioned the illustrations, and I wanted you to have the opportunity to shout out, because those are beautiful illustrations that you can find in the lyric book that you get when you go to the musical.
Yeah, so Eddie Paz, who is our woodwind player, who plays clarinet and flute and saxophone in the show. Again, another stunning.
I mean, literally, just add illustrator on that list of.
He was just sitting noodling on his pad one day, and someone was like, "What are you drawing?" And he was just drawing, just lyrics of the songs. He's also a visual artist, and our producer got wind of it and was like, "We have to put these the book. So it began as just being in our playbill.
Right.
There's an insert with all of his drawings and all the lyrics. So instead of you just reading like a pre-printed, Times Roman font version of the lyrics, even the lyrics are presented to you in a soulful, earthy way, in the way that the music should be represented. So Eddie Paz did beautiful drawings, beautiful depictions of the lyrics, and those are part of the LP.
That's beautiful. Okay, before we go, last question before we wrap, and I'm gonna leave our viewers with another amazing clip from the show. This question is for Renesito y David. Una pregunta para David, Renesito. ¿Tienen proyectos de grabaciones personales, algún CD o algo pendiente?
Bueno, yo le voy a comentar a Juan González. Le mando un saludo a todas las personas que están conectadas. Que el maestro David Oquendo acaba de sacar un CD hermoso. Está en todas las plataformas digitales, así que busquen maestro David Oquendo en todas las plataformas digitales y van a escuchar su nuevo álbum. Y bueno, por mi parte, ya acabo de sacar un álbum en mayo pasado, se llama Familia. Y en este momento estamos enamorados y anonadados con la belleza de este álbum de Buena Vista Social Club. Espero que todos lo compren y lo disfruten.
Absolutely. Quiero decirle a todo el mundo, if you're watching on Talk Shop Live, para comprar, hit the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure that you type in the word shop. You're going to get a link directly into your DM. And if you're watching on YouTube, just follow the link on the description. That'll take you to your purchase. I cannot thank you all enough. Muchísimas gracias de tomar el tiempo para hablar con nosotros hoy aquí en Talk Shop Live. Jean, I thank you. David, voy para Apple para ver ese álbum nuevo, y Renesito, tú también, y felicidades de nuevo.
Gracias.
And I can't wait to see the show again. Congratulations on this marvelous feat. We're going to leave everybody with a clip. And we're here, Buena Vista Social Club. So make sure that you buy here on Talk Shop Live and go see the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Adios.
Adios.
Broadway's Buena Vista Social Club has been nominated for 10 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. This electrifying new musical celebration is a New York Times Critics' Pick, the most intoxicating and rapturous show of the Broadway season. It's irresistible, a sheer joy, and a soul-stirring must-see. Buena Vista Social Club. Get tickets now.